176 of them are operating. And there are more being drilled, and a lot of that is because of stuff coming in from Pennsylvania. And because of interstate commerce laws, you can't stop them from coming in. It's just like the landfills with garbage from New York and New Jersey coming to Ohio. You can't stop it from happening. If you take a look at where the historic earthquakes have occurred and where the injection's occurring, visually there's no correlation between them. The injection's all in here, the earthquakes are out here. So is it injection causing earthquakes historically in Ohio? No. No, it's not. But that doesn't mean injection cannot trigger earthquakes. If you take the same map of the structures and compare it with the location of the earthquake epicenters, there is a strong correlation between the structures in the earth. So it's no doubt that the structures are what are the cause of the earthquakes. The major earthquakes in Ohio, the really big ones that have occurred, are out in western Ohio, and they're associated with this major structural feature. Up along Lake County, we have the magnetic anomaly that runs across here, a different type of rock that's injected in here, likely the cause of these earthquakes. Although if you go back into the late 1980s, up in Ashtabula, there was a class 1 injection well. It's different than a class 2. Class 1 injection wells take industrial waste and inject them down into the earth. And there was suspected that earthquakes were being triggered by injection in that well. The same group that came recently to set up seismographs out here in Youngstown, they set up the seismographs up in Ashtabula, and they concluded, the researchers working that concluded that the injection in this class 1 well was triggering earthquakes. They shut down the well. It took about a half a year to a year for the earthquakes to subside, but they did. Probably going to see the same thing here in Youngstown. So I don't know how many of you are aware, but out in the neighborhoods where the earthquakes have been, the epicenters have been located, Lamont Doherty Labs, along with the Ohio Department of Natural Resources and the Department of Geological and Environmental Sciences at Youngstown State University, set up 4 of these seismographs. And the purpose of these seismographs were to accurately determine the depth at which the earthquakes were occurring. The existing seismograph network in Ohio was not adequate to determine the depth of these earthquakes. They could only make a best guess. And so with these relatively sophisticated instruments, they had 2 earthquakes since they installed them. They were put in on December 1st, so we had the 24th and the 31st. Both of these recorded those earthquakes, and they determined that the depth of the earthquakes was around 3.5 kilometers. The depth of injection is a little over, it's right around 2.7 kilometers. And so there's a close correlation between the depth of injection and the earthquakes. And I think that information was what finally got the ODNR to shut the well down. Just today, we installed a much more sophisticated seismograph at Youngstown State University, and this will add additional data. This one that we installed today is tied directly into the United States Geological Survey earthquake web, and the signals go straight to Menlo Park, California, where they're processed along with earthquakes from all around the rest of the world. And so I guess a silver lining to any dark cloud, if there is one, is that we got a whole lot of seismic monitoring gear here in Youngstown. And there's more to come, is what I'm told. So with that, I'd just like to thank you for your time, and I'd like to take questions.